Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, or a Hobbit's Reading List, and this week we have some sort of exciting things happening. I will be working on my TBR game, which hopefully you will see in February, and I'm going to try to convince Chris to go on a Chicago date on Saturday, because we have to go to Chicago anyway. And in between all that, we're going to be doing some reading and content creation, so let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, I just wanted to check in. I'm probably not going to do much more reading tonight. I've had a pretty bad day at work. I did read this morning. You will have seen or would have seen B-roll of me reading, depending on where I put it in the video. I might put it after this. I don't know. At some point in this video, you will have seen me read a little bit of my Man Jeeves this morning. I read about 2 of the short stories. I just don't know that I'm a fan of short stories, quite honestly. They're fine. I actually enjoyed them. I think Jeeves is very funny without trying to be, and Wooster is just I'm sure my dad will disagree with this, but considering the only other PG Wodehouse I've read was Something Fresh, which is part of the Blanding's Castle series, I can't help but compare Wooster with Freddie, the Honorable Freddie, because they both strike me as just like, they're both very like posh, lovable idiots. Which I enjoy. I actually really enjoy that. So I appreciate that Wodehouse has that character in many of his stories. So I really enjoyed them. I think Jeeves is great. He strikes me as like not a straight man. And I don't mean like sexual orientation. I mean like joke wise. I don't think he's a straight man. I don't know what it would be called. But he has this very like, sorry, pop my neck. Unintentional sarcasm, I guess. Like I don't know the character well enough to know if he's doing it intentionally, so I don't know if it's sarcasm or he's just like that dry and it just comes out as sarcasm. But I do like it. I've also listened to more of Crime and Punishment. I listened to about an hour this morning. I probably won't listen to any on my drive home. Like I said, like I've had a bad day at work and I just sort of want to listen to music, you know, just sort of chill out. I don't want to use my brain anymore. I'll listen to more on Wednesday. Crime and Punishment. I think I said this in last week's vlog, but like I'm at the point where I don't know how much I can say without giving away spoilers. So it is wrapping up. Things are happening. More people know that Raskolnikov committed the murders, and he's sort of freaking out a little bit, which is fair. That makes sense. And I still don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's actually going to get caught. I don't know if he's going to end up getting arrested. I don't know if he's going to end up getting away with it, if he's going to run away. I don't know what's going to happen. But I am officially on the last part. I'm on part 6, although I'm pretty sure there's an epilogue. So second to last part. I don't know. I'm in the last 5 hours, I think. I think I have like 4 hours left, quite honestly. So that's kind of crazy to think about. Just because I feel like I've been listening to this book for so long, which I have. It's been 2.5 weeks. It was like 22 hours long total. But I will definitely finish it this week, which will be good. Although I don't think that any other book that I have on my TBR has an audiobook. I think I've read all the other ones that had audiobooks, so that kind of sucks. That's it. That's really all I have. Tomorrow I'm going to try to work on my new TBR game, and I'm really excited about that. I just need to come up with prompts. I figured out the sections already. So that's about it. I just wanted to give a little update on my reading today and tell you that today hasn't been the best, but I am hopeful that tomorrow will be a little bit better. It kind of has to be. Otherwise, that'll be really upsetting if I'm super upset on my day off. It's happened before, so we'll see. So I haven't read yet. I'll just say that right now. I haven't read yet. I've had a lot of meetings today, just with all the other like various things that I'm involved with. Like I had therapy and I had personal training, and then I had like Torah study with some friends of mine, and then I met with my rabbi. So, and now I'm about to have a writing date. So I've just been like very talking to other people today, and so I haven't been able to do a lot of stuff, including read and edit this week's vlog. And by this week, I mean the one that was supposed to come out today. So yeah, I'm a little behind. But I did want to reveal which book I got while I was at the store, because I thought maybe looking at the books would cheer me up a little bit, and it did. So I only got one. I showed some restraint, but I got Bonds of Brass, and yes, you can see how much I paid for it. And it's by Emily, oh, I can't pronounce that last name, Skrutskie. But I picked it up, one, because I'm just thrilled to see any queer book in like a supermarket type store in Indiana. Because I found it at Meijer, which is very similar to Walmart, but better. So I read this. It looks like it is science fiction. I don't need to like hedge my bet. It is science fiction, which is usually not my genre. But it looked really interesting. I liked the cover a lot. And it's about these two friends. One of them is a pilot in this planet's army, I think. And he has a traumatic backstory where like his people were, I believe, from what I got from the blurb, like essentially colonized. And he it describes it as like his world was destroyed by this empire of, I think it's Umber. But he has met his best friend, who he might be in love with. He's in love with him. But it says in the blurb that like there's an assassination attempt on his friend, and that's how it's revealed that his friend is actually the heir to the empire, and so his friend's family is responsible for destroying the main character's life. I'm trying to remember their names. I can't, so I will look it up. Etienne is the main character, and Gal is his best friend. And so it's the first book in a trilogy, and like I said, I thought it was just really interesting because I know it's going to have to delve into the whole thing where it's like Etienne is probably going to feel betrayed, is going to probably feel like he doesn't really know who Gal is, and also confront like the trauma that he's experienced and everything. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Don't know when I'm going to get to read it, but it did make me feel better to buy a book. So that's my update. I'll film a little bit later if I end up reading, which I hope I will, because this will be the first day all month that I haven't read. So I should be able to read at least a little bit, but we'll see. So I did finish a book. Amazing. How many books is that this week? I think that's only one. That's only one book so far, but I will be finishing a book tomorrow. I know I said a couple weeks ago that I was going to stop predicting when I was going to finish a book because I am frequently wrong. There's no way I'm not finishing this. There's no way I'm not finishing Crime and Punishment tomorrow. Like, I have 2 hours, 8 minutes left, and I have to commute to work. I'm finishing it. I'm determined. Anyway, so I haven't listened to any Crime and Punishment today. I'm sorry, Reese is very needy today. He's knocking into my hand, and you're going to see bits of his tail. Very sorry about that. Because every time I try to push him away, he growls at me because he's just apparently feeling neglected. So while I didn't read any Crime and Punishment today, I did read My Man Jeeves because I had a car oil change appointment, and I just wait in their waiting room while they're doing that. So I was there for about an hour and a half, so I was able to finish reading My Man Jeeves. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I did enjoy the parts with Jeeves more. So My Man Jeeves is a collection of 8 short stories by PG Wodehouse, and 4 of them are about Jeeves and Wooster, and the other 4 are about Reggie Pepper. Reggie Pepper is based in, I want to say England. Wooster's in New York, so I think Reggie's in England. There were times where Reggie's just a little more, like, chaotic. You know, I think on an alignment chart, I would say he's probably, like, chaotic neutral. Because, like, one of the short stories involved literally kidnapping a child. And, like, it's fine. There's no harm done, I guess. Like, he ends up kidnapping the kid, but then he ends up just, like, babysitting. But, like, and it is funny, I will say that, but, like, when I was reading it, I wrote next to the paragraph where he's, like, sort of, like, having this thought process about kidnapping this child in order to help his friend. I literally just wrote in the margins, WTF, because, like, I feel like there are so many other ways you could have helped your friend. But I feel like I enjoyed Wooster more. I understood him. Like I said earlier, I feel like he's just, like, a lovable idiot. And I feel like Reggie was too, but I don't know. If I had to choose between two, I would want to read about Wooster and Jeeves. Just because, like, I also like the dynamic between the two of them. And Reggie's just alone with, like, friends. But it's a different friend every time. There was a story, the last story in the collection, though, that upset me. Mainly just because, like, it upset me for Wooster. Because I felt like he was getting really taken advantage of. And blamed for things that were not his fault. Like, he was trying to help his friend, and his friend is just being a dick. So I guess that's what my dad was talking about, because he had previously said that friendship dynamics in some PG Wodehouse novels are interesting, and that, like, they're not really, like, friendly. And I think I saw a glimpse of that in that last story. So, but like I said, I liked Jeeves and Wooster. I would like to read them again. I know for the next Wodehouse book that we're reading, it's just a standalone, so it's not part of any series, which is fine. But I think I'll be very excited when we go back to Jeeves and Wooster. And Blanding's Castle. I like Blanding's Castle too. So that's sort of my update. I've spent pretty much, like, the last 5 hours working on my TBR game and then filming my February TBR, so I have that all sorted out, and you should get a video on the 1st. Like, because it's filmed, I just have to edit it. I have no idea when the bookshelf tour is happening. I need to actually film that. So, you know, that'll happen at some point. But yeah, I think that's about it for me today. I will check in tomorrow and let you know how Crime and Punishment wrapped up and my final thoughts on that. Night. Hey everyone, I am sort of working from home today. I had one meeting in person, and then I had enough time to get back home. So I did finish listening to Crime and Punishment. Yay! And I know I'm super excited just to be done, but that's just because it was literally 22 hours long. It took me about, 2.5 weeks? Maybe 3? It feels like it took me forever. Because usually I just go through audiobooks way faster because I do have such a long commute. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars because I did enjoy it. It lost me in some parts, pretty much just the sections with Porphyry, just because I really didn't like him. I don't like any character that monologues for 50 minutes, apparently. I also felt like some of the relationship development, especially between, like, Raskolnikov and Sonia, was... I've been apparently ignoring Reese today, and he's very upset about it. But I've been working. But I think the relationship between Raskolnikov and Sonia was a little bit... I don't know. It just... Not that it came out of nowhere. I could feel that was going to happen pretty much almost immediately. But I just feel like it did and didn't make sense. Like, I feel like it wasn't shown enough. Like, I don't know. I just have, like... I don't believe it fully. Like, I guess I'll just leave it at that. I don't really believe it fully. But I liked most of the characters. I liked the plot. Some of the logic didn't make sense to me. Mainly about the relationships. I remember having an issue with... Oh, I think just... the character whose name I definitely can't pronounce. So I'm going to say his first name because it's easier. Arkady. I feel like the way his arc ended just didn't make a lot of sense. Like, okay, I guess it made sense, but it took a weird trajectory. I didn't understand how his relationship with Raskolnikov developed. It was very up and down, which, like, I know Raskolnikov himself is just very up and down, but I don't know, it just felt way too chaotic when there's already so much other chaos going on. But for the most part, I did really enjoy it. I did not have a reason to be so scared of it. I'll say that. And it does have me interested in possibly picking up another Dostoevsky. If you're going to listen to Crime and Punishment, I definitely listen to the audiobook narrated by Will Poulter that's available on Audible, because I think that definitely helped me get so into it, because Will Poulter is a great narrator. So definitely check that out. But other than that, I'm debating on whether I should start on my February TBR, which I do have figured out already. Check the video that will come up the day after this one to see what is on my TBR for February. But I'm debating whether or not I should start a book for that early, or if I should go ahead and pick up A Gay Synagogue in New York and just try to finish it in the last 4 days of the month. I should probably do that. I should just read it. I'm just dreading it. Not because I think I won't like it. I'm just dreading it because it's another nonfiction. And I think I'm honestly so burnt out on nonfiction this month. I've read a lot. I've just read a lot on nonfiction and a lot of drier things. And I'm very much looking forward to my February TBR because it feels like it's going to be more fun. So that's a little update. I will let you know what I end up doing. So I just got back from Chicago. I have not read today. I did read the first chapter of A Gay Synagogue in New York yesterday. I went ahead and started that because I figured I should be able to get done by Wednesday, and if not, then I'll get it done sometime next week, and then I'll start on my February TBR. Considering it was only the first chapter, started off well. I think it was just going over a lot of like how this anthropologist, Moshe, did his research and how it was sort of like unintentional, and talked a little bit about the relationships that he had developed with the congregants and his sort of like anxiety about how his research would be taken and how his presence would be taken, considering that he does not identify as homosexual, and he was intentionally going to a synagogue that is predominantly homosexual. So it's just a little bit about that. I'm looking forward to continuing reading it and seeing like more about the personal interviews that he did and the different studies. So I think it's interesting. I got the book as like a gift for the winter holidays from, I believe, my parents. And yeah, I think it's really interesting. But the main reason I wanted to film is because you'll have seen by now that I spent a lot of time in bookstores over the past couple days. I dragged my husband to Barnes & Noble last night, mainly because I wanted to get Måneskin's new album on vinyl. I have their first album on vinyl as well, and I've been listening to the new album pretty much since it came out, nonstop. And I really wanted it on vinyl to accompany the other one, and I have a record player in my library, and so I really wanted a new album, and Barnes & Noble was the place that had it. But while I was there, I couldn't help getting books, of course. So I figured I'd do like a little mini haul. I got 3 books technically. But I got Glitterland by Alexis Hall, and this is about Ash Winters, who was a very like sought after writer, but something happened and he's sort of fallen out of favor, and he's sort of like he's lost his spark kind of in just like what makes him happy. And then he meets someone named Doireann, who is like the exact opposite. He's very exuberant, he's very loud and flashy, and he helps Ash appreciate what's going on around him and feel happiness again. So it sounded very cute. It's one of Alexis Hall's earlier works, I think, and so I'm looking forward to it. And then I got The Perfect Crimes of Marian Hayes by Sebastian. I read the first book in this series, The Queer Principles of Kit Webb, and even though this is looking at Marian's perspective, so there's not going to be a lot of Kit and Percy in it, I think it should still be cute, and I wanted to see how it ends up. So, and then in a very big twist, Chris ended up picking up a book, which he's not a reader, and he hates going to bookstores with me, which he's been to 2 in the past 2 days, so I guess I should show some appreciation. But he ended up picking up Cain's Jawbone, which, for those of you who don't know, it is a murder mystery with a twist. You are figuring out who committed the murders and who was murdered. And so this is what a page looks like. Every page looks like this. It starts with a sentence and it ends at the very end of a sentence. And the pages are out of order. And you have to solve the murder mystery. And pretty much you are encouraged to destroy this book. It literally has like, I don't know if you can see it, it has cut lines, because you have to put the pages in the right order. When this was first published in, I want to say 1934, there was a competition to see who could solve it. And publishers Unbound ran that competition again in 2022. So we missed it. But pretty much only 3 people have ever solved this perfectly. And Chris saw it in a video that Jack Edwards did, thought it was interesting, and we are apparently going to be doing it together. So that's fun. Continuing on my haul. So we went to Chicago today, and I dragged Chris to an independent bookstore that I wanted to check out. And it's been on my list of bookstores to go to, so I'm really glad that he went with me. So while I was there, I got Thistlefoot by GennaRose Nethercott, and this has a lot of Jewish folklore inspiration, and so it's been very popular on Jewish Book Talk. It's been very popular altogether, and I know Allison Paiges did a review of it and really enjoyed it, so it's been on my list for a minute, and I finally just went ahead and picked it up. It's about a pair of siblings that have been estranged since childhood, but mysteriously inherited a house, except the house is sentient and on chicken legs. It sounds fun, it sounds wacky, it sounds like it'll probably destroy me, which is what I look for in books, quite honestly. The other one I got, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the author's name. I need to look it up, and so I will say it when I, 1, feel more confident, and 2, read it. But this is A Ghost in the Throat, and I'm fairly certain it's an Irish name. I could be wrong. But considering that the story is about a modern woman sort of discovering for herself the poetry of an 18th century Irish noblewoman. I'm fairly certain this is an Irish name. It looked really interesting, and it's sort of highlighting how women get essentially written out of history. And so this modern woman whose name I can't pronounce, I will look into it. This modern woman sort of devotes a lot of time and energy into getting more information on this 18th century female poet. And so I thought it just sounded really, really fascinating. And I haven't seen anyone talk about this. I thought it sounded really cool. So I'm excited to start that. And then I also got a cookbook because I always get excited when I see Jewish things in bookstores, especially independent bookstores. And so this is 52 Shabbats, and pretty much it is a recipe for every Shabbat of the year, and it breaks it down by season. And it also has a lot of recipes of the diaspora, which I'm really interested in. I really want to expand my taste buds, pretty much, and my cooking. So I thought that sounded really cool and something that I would like to try to do. Finally, last thing in my book haul, for my February TBR, my dad chose one of the books that I'm reading, and unsurprisingly, he picked a PG Wodehouse novel. And I say unsurprising because I had to talk to him about it, and I gave him choice of like, I have to read a PG Wodehouse novel no matter what. It's up to you if you want that to be your pick, or you want to give me an additional book to read in February. And he was very nice and chose just the Wodehouse. Next time that it's his pick, though, he will pick an extra one, most likely. But I got Hot Water by PG Wodehouse. I don't know anything about it. I know it's a standalone novel. It's not part of a series. So it looks like this is about J. Wellington Gedge, who, I guess, his wife controls a lot of the finances, and he is essentially being controlled by that, but he just wants to go to California, presumably to relax. But it sounds like there's a lot going on. I'm sure I'll give a better synopsis when I start reading it next month. So that's all the books I've gotten in the past 2 days, plus the one I got on Thursday. So I've gotten 8 books in the past 3 days. Yeah, so I'm probably not going to buy books at least for another week. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap the vlog up. I've been home for 5 hours, but I spent pretty much that entire time doing more work stuff. So I'm just feeling really burned out. I think I am going to read more tonight, but I will fill you in the next vlog. Because I'm just feeling really tired, so I think I might just read like a chapter. But I did start listening to The Glass Ocean, which, for people who don't know, is a multi-POV story about the RMS Lusitania, which in 1915 was sunk by a German U-boat on its way to England. And so the multi-POV, one of the perspectives is from a nonfiction author in, I think, 2013, who is struggling but has a trunk that belonged to her great-grandfather, I believe, who was on and died on the Lusitania. And so she's trying to uncover this, like, mystery about what really happened on board. The other two perspectives are from people who were on the Lusitania. One of them is a high-class woman. I'm trying to remember her name. It's so stupid. I remember her last name, which is like Hochstetter or something, but I don't remember her first name. But she's hoping that she can like reconnect with her husband on this journey, but also her close friend is coming as well, and he's a man, and they get along much better than she gets along with her husband, and he's very handsome. So gee, I wonder what will happen there. And then the third perspective is from a young woman who is a con artist, pretty much, and she's a second-class passenger. So neither of them are on the ship yet. I only read one chapter from each of them, and I'm hoping... I like it so far. I think it's really interesting. I think it did a really good job setting up the story. I'm hoping it continues to be that way, because typically when there are books with more than 2 POV, I end up really disliking one of them. And I really hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think this will be interesting. I won't finish it before February, but that's okay because... Hi, buddy. Hi. He's been patiently waiting for me to finish all my work stuff so we can cuddle. So if I don't read more tonight, this is why. What was I saying before? Oh, if I don't finish it by, Wednesday, like, that's fine, because I think there are only like 4 books that are available on audio that I'm supposed to listen to, or supposed to read for February. Hi, buddy. Yeah, you don't like that sound. I'm sorry. But I will listen to more. I'm getting cat hair all over my face. I'll listen to more tomorrow. But I think for the rest of the night, I'm just going to chill out a little bit. I think I know tomorrow is going to be very busy at work. And so I don't really want to, like, be as stressed out as I was last week. So just going to chill. I hope you all had a good time. I hope you all had a good week. I hope that this upcoming week is kind to us all. And I will see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment for Reese. Tell him he's loved. And I will talk to you later. Bye.